Kia ora everybody, here we are, episode 12, the GYMjot Music Podcast. Welcome back. And today, we're joined by my friend here in Melbourne once again, but another Kiwi on the podcast, Corban. How are you today, my friend?
Kia ora, bro. Doing very good. Frothing. Thanks for having us. I love, just was saying off the recording, love podcasts and love this format. We're going to share the codes, bro.
Yeah, let's share the codes then. Let's give a little background info on Corban. He has a background mostly in digital marketing, creative direction, and event management, as well as media production. As I said, he's now based in Melbourne, but he grew up in Auckland with an interest in those areas, video and dance music, which has started a journey that has now landed Corban in the position of music festival director and marketing professional. In his 2020 Christchurch student days, he co-founded Two Minds Festival, an events brand that started with a group of friends and flat parties, but now has grown to full-scale camping festival that hosts 6 stages, over 50 artists, including international talent, along with wellness activities and vendor stalls. The 4th installment is to be held at Spencer Beach Top 10 Holiday Park in Otatahi, Christchurch, and there are still a few tickets to date. So if you're keen for a shebang and free to do so on March 13th to 15th, then get in quick, team. We will have time to talk festivals very shortly, Corban, but is there anything I've missed there regarding the upcoming Two Minds Festival that you just want to leave on the air?
I think you hit the nail on the head. It's going to be our 4th edition this year. Been a super long journey to get to this point. This year, it's looking like we probably, maybe even by the time this podcast comes out, it will have sold out, which will be a massive achievement for the festival and the crew that's put it all together. Maybe if there are some tickets still available, would suggest jumping on that. We're super proud of it and sort of what it's growing and turning into, and we regard it as one of the best, if not the best party in New Zealand. So would encourage you to come along and come hang out and have a great time.
Hell yeah. We're recording here on the 29th of January, and you still got, a month and a bit until the festival. So I imagine it's all hands on deck for you and your team.
Yep. Yeah, all hands on deck. It's kind of the ramping up. I'm living in Melbourne at the moment, but we'll be heading back to Christchurch end of Feb, and then we'll be there for a month to deliver the festival.
How many tickets can you guys sell for that then? What are you hosting attendees-wise?
As in like what sold out is?
Yeah, what is sold out?
About 3,500.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Really is a shebang. Couldn't see.
Yeah, it is a shebang, bro.
Yeah, nice. And Corban, we also ask our guests to share one silly fact unrelated to music. So if you could just break that ice for us, we would love you. Anything that's juicy. We like juice.
It's a terrible one that comes to mind. It's a terrible one that comes to mind, but I'm going to go for it. Is that town planning used to be a category in the Olympics? I brought that up over a beer at a bar a couple of days ago and had to fact check it. So it's in my head. It's there. But town planning used to be in the Olympics. You could get a gold medal for planning your city.
How did they even go about judging that?
We're going to have to Google it, bro. That's about as deep as the fact goes.
As deep as we go. As deep as we go with our town planning today.
Yeah.
All good. That's a trippy one, though. Do you know when it stopped? Any other juices?
I think it was in the might have been like in the early 90s or something. It was an LA one and then another one. Damn.
That's like pretty recent.
I've got my workmates here outside the window taking photos of me having a laugh. Sorry, I'm a little distracted.
All right. Well, let me give a little bit of a news digest while they be silly, eh? This week, we are with some festival chat. And this month, we turn our attention to Lauren McNamara of Rolling Stone Australia with her piece Lime Cordiale launch off-grid festival coming to Australia in 2026. Bringing their passions of music and environment together, Lime Cordiale's new off-grid music festival places climate action at the center of the experience, exploring what the future of live music could look like. Concerned about the carbon footprint that comes with touring, they are taking initiative to lessen that impact by using battery-powered amps, hosting workshops and talks around regenerative energy, and offering renewable energy transport options. The idea is to keep live music and connective opportunities in a space that reduces the environmental impact. Taking place in April at Adelaide's Point Melbourne Reserve, you can catch Lime Cordiale, The Dregs, Pash, and other local talent, as well as Triple J Unearthed artists. And the tickets are on sale now for that. Now, Corban, lots of festivals have a sort of audience pull card outside of the music. Well, I guess it also acts as a pull card for the artist to be on that lineup too. In this case, the Lime Cordiale duo are leaning into regenerative energy and a clean festival. Have you heard of a festival that is taking this approach to a festival environment? And as someone who runs a festival, what would you foresee to be the complications in doing so?
It's a super interesting one. Seeing this, like what sticks out to me is Lime Cordiale. It's unique when you sort of have an act promoting a festival rather than a festival promoting the acts, if that makes sense. I always think that's like an interesting thing. It's something that another really successful dance music label that our crew adore called No Art. It's a label called No Art. As part of the label, they are also artists themselves called Another, ANOTR, and they run No Art Festival. So it's kind of like this crossover where the artist is actually promoting the festival, like it's their festival rather than it's some other organization's festival booking the artists, and they're not related, they're separate. So I just think that's interesting and interesting seeing that in the live music and the band world, which I'm not as familiar with. The sustainable aspect of it is super interesting. A massive inspiration of music festivals for us in New Zealand has always been Tora Bombora. Do you know Tora Bombora?
No, please enlighten me.
So Tora Bombora is a really epic festival on the Wairarapa in a place called Tora. It's on the coast, southeast of the North Island. Super rugged, super raw. You can see the ocean, and it's the wind can often sort of howl through that area. So it's very rugged, but a really awesome festival. And a good mate Louis runs that one. And sustainability is always a huge emphasis on that festival, and was probably the first festival that kind of, as me and my friends being punters and attending festivals, that was the first place that we sort of saw or experienced sustainable efforts or sustainable practice with music festivals. Obviously, it's always a tricky one with events because you're getting lots of people and lots of resources together for a really good time and lots of fun. So it's a challenging one when it comes to waste, but it's definitely not a new thing. Like making a considered effort to reduce waste and sort of reduced environmental impact through a music festival. Generally, music festivals, like the ones that we are inspired by or the ones that we like, are the ones that have more of a purpose of making the world a better place or leaving the world a better place than how you found it the day before, and how that manifests itself at a music festival is the social atmosphere we want to create, but then also the respect for the land and the area that we're on, and I think that plays like a big part of it. But still, it's a challenging thing. You know, it's like,
of course, the balance.
It's a sustainable festival, but you're still going to have to take a flight to get to Adelaide.
Yeah, true. Yes, it's sustainable on two levels as well, isn't it? It's because a festival's not just thinking about how we can make the environment sustainable, but how they can make the festival itself sustainable as a project, as an ongoing thing, which in theory leads to some sort of at least breaking even or profit margin that needs to be attended to. And this is when cutting costs come in, and cutting costs lead to environmental impact as well. So it's a really tough balance, because I don't think anyone can expect a festival to be completely have zero impact on the environment. For me, that feels like too high of a standard. I like the incentive to try and to take that on themselves, Lime Cordial boys, and to make that the focal point, and making it known too, because like I said, I feel like that attracts people that want to participate in that, creating a connective environment that also is connective to the land and respectful of the land too. But yeah, like I say, I feel like just congregating that many people together, something's going to happen.
Yeah, it's tricky, but it's a necessary sort of innovation in any industry, is needing to figure out how to do it more sustainably.
Totally. So in your 4 years of doing the Two Minds Festival, what are some of the sort of inside scoops you've found in terms of setting things up, like from a sustainable standpoint, some things you've learned or incorporated into Two Minds Festival to help make it more friendly to the environment and the people?
Yeah, well, each year we have like a pretty significant crew that come in and volunteer to sort of manage our waste. There's like a massive effort to sort of sort through it, and there can be a lot of it. You think of a lot of, you go to your favorite sort of pop star, rock stars music festival, and the last song finishes after the encore, and everyone clears out, and you look down at your feet, and what do you see? It's a sea of cups and rubbish. But there's that and food is usually probably the biggest one. But Christchurch is really awesome for it, actually. Quite like the Christchurch City Council, which is that's the council's rules that we have to adhere to for our festival. They have really tight rules on what kind of food packaging you can use. Really strict rules from sort of all the food vendors there that it's compostable food packaging. A pretty significant emphasis on having a waste management process, partnering with a waste management team to reduce the amount of rubbish actually going to a tip as opposed to being recycled. There's actually a lot that can be done there, because again, you think that band plays, the last song finishes, you look down at your feet, it's usually cans, but cans can be recycled. And it's like there's sort of a lot that can be done. Another one is obviously globlets and sort of cups, which can always be a fun one. Kendra from our crew wants to, there's a lot of different and creative ways that you can kind of tackle and solve the problem too. Like fun ways that Kendra from our crew is looking into or potentially wanting to introduce as a sort of cup return reward system, something that maybe has some sort of fun coin-like element to it. Not really sure exactly, sort of speaking candidly now, where that's gonna land, but I think the takeaway is it's like there's heaps of stuff that we have to do, there's heaps of stuff that we want to do, and then there's also heaps of opportunity to sort of find a creative solution and make it sort of a fun aspect of the festival while also sort of addressing a challenge, which is waste. Yeah.
And 4 years of running, would you call it 4 years or would you call it 6 years? Because you guys started flat parties and stuff back in 2020.
It's a great question. 4 years of the festival. Our first ever Two Minds event was in 2021. So,
okay, cool.
2020.
Yeah,
2020. 2020 or 2021. One of those years.
Yeah.
Our first event was a flat party in Ireland in Christchurch.
either way, it's not a long time in the grand scheme of things to be running a major scale festival like that. And like even a flat party compared to what the festivals turned into now, I mean, they're not really comparable. I'm sure sustainability was of minimal concern at the first flat party compared to partnering with a council and having a whole waste strategy and certain vendors that can only use certain types of packaging and stuff. Yeah, it's a lot to manage, and I'm sure you've learned a lot just about running events in the process.
Oh yeah. That first year was learning everything for the first time. Every single part of the festival was a decision that we were having to make for the first time. In later years, it's tweaking and improving, but yeah, that first year there was a lot of F around and find out, just get stuck in, and sort of it was a bit of a block of stone that we had to turn into a sculpture and just carve away at it. We weren't 100% sure what it would look like, but we knew that we wanted to do it and just carved away. Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy. It feels like it's been a long time, but when I'm asked that question, when did you guys start? It feels longer than 5 or 6 years.
Yeah. That's really cool, man. I'm glad it's all coming around and it's advancing every year, and you're thinking about these things, and like international talents coming in. Like, that's so cool. Selling it out. Congrats, big ups. Provider of fun, provider of sustainable approaches in today and the future to come. And all the best to the Lime Cordial boys with their Off the Grid festival. Keep an eye out for that as well. That brings us to the end of part 1. We're going to move into our song of the month. This one is called, kind of relevant for me and Corban here, it's called I'm Not From Melbourne. And it's from Lily Hallowell. We will be back to talk more about that very shortly. Have a quick little sneak listen and then go check out the full song if you like. See you soon.
Can I convince them? I know I will win there. I'm not from Melbourne. Please nobody tell them I'm not. I'm not hard. I'm not hard from Melbourne. So I cut my hair, walk around the block, resume in hand and a wishing pot.
I'm Not From Melbourne, Lily Hallowell. Well, there you go. How did that song make you feel, Corban? What was the takeaway?
It's an interesting one. I might be a little bit different, I imagine, to quite a few of your other guests, is that I'm really like a dance music head. Like the way, like it's something I've thought about before, that what I listen to or listen to music for is more in the beat than the lyrics, and I find it amazing sometimes that my partner or some of my friends are so great at learning or listening to lyrics, and it's just a funny thing I've noticed in myself is that I go to a concert and I don't even listen to what they're saying. I'm also live in the beat, but an interesting exercise for me nonetheless. A beautiful song. I'm Not From Melbourne, obviously relevant because neither of us are from Melbourne, but yet both of us are living in Melbourne. And interesting, what I take away from the song is that feeling of being in a big city in which you are not from, and sort of being that little fish in a big pond, which I'm sure both you and I could probably relate to as Kiwis living in Melbourne.
Yeah, that was a nice way to capsule it. And I actually share the same sentiment. I really struggle to hear lyrics, but I like lyric-driven music. But I tend to lock into the melody of the lyrics than the actual content of the story or the song. This has a very noticeable hook, though. The hook really cuts through well in this song, I find. Kind of dark verses. Like when the bass dropped in the second verse, I was like, whoa, like we're doing like this spooky little kind of semi-tonal thing if we're getting musicality on it, just moving very small amount, almost dissonant. But then there's a real brightness in the choruses, which made me think she's not so worried about being not from Melbourne, you know? Like it had this sort of bright overtone to the message. In saying that, for me, it had this nice building block, and then I felt like there was one more step I wanted her to climb up to, and the climax didn't quite step up to it. But all the same, it kind of made this nice movement across rather than reaching that climatic point. I kind of wanted like a scream or something. That's what I was feeling like. I'm fucking not from Melbourne. And I will say, I've seen her perform this song live at the listening room and open mic night that I host, and it was really cool. Everyone got on board, and then that night after that open mic night, I had a fucking parking ticket, man. I couldn't believe it.
Where do I park my fucking car?
Yeah, I messaged her. I was like, "Fuck, you nailed it. I never know these parking things, man." So I'm
trying to look up more about her, and can't really see much like in her bio. Where's she from, if not from Melbourne?
I'm pretty sure she's from a country town in New South Wales. I'm not sure exactly. I don't know her super well, but yeah, she's just moved here.
But she's not from Melbourne. Yeah.
Not from Melbourne. Yeah. And I really like the song as an idea, and like there's a quirky sort of like, there's a cheekiness in it in a way, like talking about parking tickets, but like a humble, like candid expression of that feeling of like, I'm not fucking from here. I don't know what's going on, but I'll just sort of breeze my way through it. Here I am. And I love her voice. She has a great voice. Very nice, like sort of soft falsetto-y tones. Yeah, was there anything else that jumped to mind for you about that song?
Apart from just not being from Melbourne, it's a lovely tune, man. Kind of, in a way, it's like interesting to hear maybe that she's not from New Zealand, because in a way it does kind of remind me of There's a Tuesday and kind of their tone and their vibe, maybe like in some parallels to maybe Minnie and how she sings.
Yeah, well said. Well picked. There's a whole bunch of artists sort of leaning into that style at the moment, this sort of indie rock fashion, and there seems to be a sort of a manner of singing that's coming along with that as it goes.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, speaking of song feedback, you can tap into that if you head over to GYMjot.com.au, which is a free service I provide to get a page worth of notes about your song. Or you can upgrade the service to get an in-depth full track analysis of that song, and who knows, your submission might end up right here, featuring on the AUNZ Music Podcast. Feedback is one of the most important artist development tools you have. In fact, artist development is where GYMjot thrives. With our tried and tested development course, you can unlock your inner artist and find your musical direction, all within the context of your situation. So zoom on over to gymjot.com.au to book a free 30-minute consultation right now. And that brings us to our artist development chit chat. And I do want to pick your brains about navigating festivals as an artist. But first, I wanted to refer to something you said in part 1 about just digging in and doing it. How did you muster up the courage, the patience, and the willingness to be a fool to just start a festival? Because you have no idea how to navigate that space, but like just to be like, I'm just going to do it. Like what is that? How do you conjure that up?
It's we had a good friend of ours, Sean Newens, who came to the festival last year, and he's documentarian filmmaker. He made a short little documentary profiling us and our festival, and Dan Stewart, who I run the festival with, had a great way of explaining that, where it was just a very organic growth from where we started, going from flat parties to eventually small club gigs to eventually record label to eventually playing at other festivals. It kind of just organically got to the point where it made more sense to do it than to not do it. It was just the logical next step for us, which sounds crazy. It was logical. It was a logical next step, but it still was very much a big leap. We didn't know a lot, but we'd spent enough time getting really involved in other people's music festivals and just trying to lend a hand however we can, or get our foot in the door, or get Two Minds to play there, or get us to work there at the festival. There was just sort of enough experience of living in the festival universe that it was just, once that sort of time came, it was a very clear and logical next step for us. It was kind of something that we were always going to do. It was, festivals, we're always inspired by festivals because we love and enjoy going to them. So the festival for us is very much just, well, we love festivals and have so much experience attending festivals. It was just kind of a no-brainer to sort of bring all these experiences and things that we've learnt back to our backyard and create and provide our version of what an awesome music festival means. Does that answer?
Yeah, I see. As like you say, it's a step process, but I think you did lean into something crucial in navigating any industry of interest, and that is like putting your hand up to volunteer on the scene and get to know the sort of how things are operating behind closed doors, so to speak. What's happening backstage? What's happening before the festival? Start to at least just half smell those things and have an idea.
Yeah, it's a good way of describing it. It actually is almost just smelling it. Like we were in those rooms and in those environments enough that although it was a big leap, it felt familiar. And we're like, yeah, we can do this. Yeah, cool. So put your hand up, team. Now, turning more into like navigating festivals as a musician in general, what could you say about that? As in sort of looking to get booked by a music festival?
Yeah. Or being a good artist at a festival. Like, what's the sort of etiquette that you'd like to see from artists? How they can best help you and the festival be a connective experience for all.
Yeah, a really good tip, or a good person actually to follow that comes to mind is a mate, Perry. His Instagram account is Pez from Accounts. He runs Red Herring and Next Gen, working with those guys. Lives in London. He's a Kiwi, very skilled and very experienced event professional, and works for a label over in the UK. And he's a really interesting follow because he is making a lot of content. Making a lot of content at the moment that's basically giving all these tips of, I'm an artist, I want to get booked on a lineup for a festival. Here are kind of a couple tips of what you could do to sort of help that. Maybe from the perspective of a festival owner, it's a lot of it just comes down to right place, right time, and visibility. It's our process of kind of sitting down and booking is a long process. We don't just sit down once and then decide what our lineup is going to be. It's an ongoing process that is very active through the booking process, but then also not active throughout the other points of the year when we're just consuming music or going to music festivals or going to gigs or just scrolling on Instagram or TikTok and just absorbing consuming whatever's out there. I do think maybe a big thing that helped us when we were coming up, like if I think like how we got a lot of opportunities to play at other music festivals as Two Minds, came down to how willing we were as a group, and especially big thanks to Dan, who's the more extroverted one out of the pair of two of us that run Two Minds. He was really good at putting us out there, reaching out to festival directors, sending them an email, sending them a DM, like going to a gig that they're putting on and making an effort to introduce yourself. I do think a big one is just visibility. It's like sometimes it could be as simple as, oh man, this person has just been in my peripheral and they're just living in my brain and in my ears. It's like we've got to book that person, and that could be due to a smatter of things, whether it's, oh man, we just keep bumping into this person at gigs, they're clearly really motivated, or, oh man, we can't stop seeing this song that people are obviously really obsessed with. It's, I think, like making a big effort to make yourself known and be visible and don't be shy. Like one thing I've experienced through contributing to the music industry in New Zealand and Australia are people that are interested in music industries are usually pretty cool people. Like they're pretty interesting and pretty friendly, at least as far as my experience goes. So yeah, don't be afraid to reach out to people and make yourself visible.
Yeah. Could you give us any behind the scene insight as to how that booking process looks specifically? So like you get people that are submitting you, and I imagine you're pitching to other artists as well. And what's the balance of that, and how do you guys choose?
It's a real mix between booking international talent or say mid-tier talent or local talent. There's kind of like a whole different mix of different ways you approach it. Generally, it all starts in a good old Google spreadsheet, as most lists or sort of brainstorms go. And it's just ongoing multiple conversations between Dan and I and between the rest of our crew of just who should we be considering, between an experience through different genres. How do we balance the lineup? How do we make sure that the lineup's diverse? What time are we closing this stage or opening that stage? Who's going to be the right sound, or what's the energy that we want sort of to be felt in that moment and at that place? It's not a super well structured process. I don't know if that's fair. It's a lot of it is largely instinct. We'll make a list for us with our festival, because we've got 6 stages and we're a camping festival. It means we can book a lot of acts, but even still every year there's every single year it's a joke sort of between us that we have 6 stages and we still don't have enough stages or slots to be able to book everyone that we wish we could or would like to. To maybe pull the curtain back a little bit, is Dan usually is the one who sort of leads a lot of the comms and the actual like landing and confirmation of booking any acts, but then it's usually a bit of a group effort between us and our crew, looking through artist applications, people who apply to play at the festival on our website, so that we sort of reaching people, or people are getting put in front of us that just aren't in our natural network. But then also just sitting down and just having to think who excites us and who do we think is going to excite other people and provide that awesome experience that the whole music festival is about.
Yeah, I imagine it's a lot to digest, like how to filter through all of that. Whew.
It's awesome though. It's such an awesome process. It's very challenging, but also just one of the most amazing things. How cool to be able to have a think about the music and the experience that you want to put in front of people for a whole weekend. It's pretty cool.
That's true. And then maybe just like leaning more into that organizational side of things. If you're speaking to people, if you're speaking to yourself, if you want to do that one, speaking to yourself back in 2019 before you started the sort of Two Minds journey, what would you want to tell those people about this journey so far? If they wanted to get into something like this, what's the hot tips?
I would say maybe don't put too much pressure on it and enjoy it. There's a great poster that I need to get that is a picture of a horse, and it just says, I almost forgot it's all about fun. Like the whole idea is that it's supposed to be fun and you're supposed to enjoy it. I think people in music industry can maybe feel the push and pull between creating art and having a commercial outcome. It's definitely something that we feel with the music festival, and is a tightrope that needs to be balanced. Without money, without a commercial outcome, it doesn't exist. Sort of or it's a charity. The way I like to think of it is it's the we're going too far down that rabbit hole. It's supposed to be fun, maybe take a little bit of pressure off it, and just enjoy it. And sometimes that's where better art is produced. There's a great DJ, Elijah, who has a famous series on Instagram where he just posts these yellow squares, like Post-it notes, and he writes quite interesting introspective thoughts on there. And an interesting sort of idea that he puts forward is arguably, do you make better art if your livelihood and do you make better music if the stress and the pressure of it being, paying to put a roof over your head isn't there, like there's something kind of interesting about taking a little bit easier, doing what you need to do in your life to be able to make sure that you can exist in this society, but then just creating space for yourself to be able to create freely without it having too much pressure. I think going back to 2019 or 2020, looking back at it, we were very ambitious, which made us move up and make bigger events and festivals quite quickly. But I think if I had to go back and give myself a little bit of advice, it would be to enjoy it a little bit more and smell the roses a little bit more, because it's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be this big, weighty, pressurized thing, which music sometimes can be.
It's a good poster. That's a good poster to have, that horse. Yeah, it sums it up. I almost forgot it's about having fun. Man, I've fell for that so many times, man. You just get lost in the hustle, lost in the flow of the organization, lost in the creation process, whatever it is. And it's not to say that those, they're engaging, those moments. But to zoom out for a moment and be like, whoa, how cool that this is happening right now. That's sort of like separating yourself from the activity just for a second. I think people are scared to do that as well, because they feel like it's going to interfere with that flow, with that progress. It's going to slow them down, or they might get too complacent, too comfortable. Because there is something to be said, in terms of balancing that productive urge and the I'm chilling, I'm going to let it happen sort of thing, and enjoy myself in the process. There's a sort of, it's an ongoing balance, and there's no right or wrong way to go about it. Everyone has a different balance that they need to find in different moments of their life. A very dynamic thing, but such is life, such as any aspect of life, right?
Yeah, it reminds me of identity, and maybe, what you do as a job isn't who you are. How you act isn't who you are. Who you are is who you are. It's so there's, I don't know, create a little bit of space and a little bit of freedom for you to just do things. It's it doesn't mean you're this person or that person. Just make shit.
Yeah. You are what you practice, I guess. Man, that's cool. Do you have any closing notes for artists, event organizers, marketing people? Any other hot tips on the way out before we close up?
Just to don't let perfection get in the way of putting something out in the world. I think that's where we've seen our growth, has been willing to explore putting ourselves out there. It's kind of like how you had a good way of describing it, where it's you're sort of putting yourself in this position to sort of maybe be embarrassed or fail, but that's exactly the kind of space you need to be comfortable being, is because that's where the growth and the opportunities happen. It helped for us massively not doing it on our own. We started Two Minds as a group and a collective of 4 or 5 or however many friends, and so collectively we decided, we're just going to put shit out, and we're going to have a good time, and we're going to contribute, and we're going to try and put a positive message and a positive experience out there, and we're just going to get better at it as we go. So maybe that's sort of some passing advice, is don't let perfection get in the way, and if you can, sort of build a bit of a network around you, because what's the saying? Problem halved is a problem shared.
Yeah, problem shared is a problem halved.
Problem shared is a problem halved. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think it just mitigates like that preemptive fear of starting something. It spreads it a bit thinner. And so then that fear of failure, or like that shame potentially that when you fail, that might happen or might not, it's spread across you. So you have less, it doesn't hurt as much, you know? I always found it easier to like go up and interact with strangers when I'm with a group of friends or something as well. Because like if it doesn't work out, I'll just go back to my friends, you know? But if I'm by myself, it feels like there's a bit more on the line. I'm like, oh shit, man, like I need to like make some friends here. Here I go. I'm going to visit.
Who's the bro who played Elvis in that most recent film?
I'm not sure his name.
The blonde fella. It's going to kill me. But yeah, there's a great TikTok video of him being interviewed on the Metro. And Austin Butler, that's the one. And I think the guy asked him, like, what's the best advice you've ever received? And he said it was a friend of his at a party said, embarrassment is an underexplored human emotion. Go out there and make a fool of yourself. And
nice.
That's it. You just have to be comfortable. Making a bit of a goober out of yourself, because the worst outcome is that you're exactly where you are now without having a crack at anything. So that's all good. But then what happens if if the outcome is better than you've ever expected? It's like the upside is limitless, whereas the downside is guaranteed.
Mm-hmm. Let's close it out there, my man. I'm sure you've got some places to send people if they want to keep up with the Two Minds journey or your personal journey. Please share socials or anywhere else they should be following.
Yeah, bro. Just Instagram is usually our favorite one, eh? Two Minds Festival. That's the best place to follow. Check out our website if you want to learn more about it. But generally, best just to follow on social media, Facebook or Instagram. Instagram's the best one, and just be kept in the loop and sort of watch along and maybe come get involved.
Yeah, nice, cool. Well, as you're hearing in the background, we've still got a little bit of I'm Not From Melbourne in the background. But thanks so much for coming on, Corban. Some nuggets of gold in there for anyone trying to navigate the festival scene from whatever angle you're coming at. I hope everyone enjoyed that. I know I very much did. Take care, folks. Thanks again, Corban.
Thanks, bro.
Chop, chop.